has been a while since Vanderbilt has knocked off a top 10 team at home. You have to go back 45 years for the last time that happened. The opportunity is there for the winless Commodores. LSU looks to prove that they remain among the nation's elite. Welcome to Nashville, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. We'll get to Cole Kubelik in just a moment. This is not your dad's LSU offense or your uncle's or your brother's. In fact, this is Joe Burrow's offense, and it's proven to be through the air the best in the country.
And an offense that we didn't know what was going to look like, and now we can firmly say this offense is electric. It's dynamic. The addition of Joe Brady as the passing game coordinator from the Saints has completely changed this offense, but especially Joe Burrow. He is playing at a higher level than any quarterback in the entire country. Watching film backs it up. The stats back it up. He's dropping dimes all over the field, and it's really the offense that is setting him up to succeed. They don't need to run the football anymore. When have we ever said that at LSU?
Well, things have certainly changed. Joe Burrow leading the country in completion percentage, 83%, and he's already thrown for over 1,000 yards. He's got plenty of weapons to work with. Meanwhile, on the other side for Vanderbilt, Derek Mason has to figure out how to slow this LSU offense down. And through 2 games this season, Vanderbilt's defense hasn't slowed anybody down. Georgia ran for 325 against him. Purdue threw for 500 against him. He wants to do something different. How different can Vandy's defense be?
Well, they've had 2 weeks to prepare, and if you look at that Purdue game, nothing worked. They couldn't cover on the back end. So if you look at history, for the LSU offense and the small sample size that we have against Texas, they had success early getting pressure on Joe Burrow. I think this difference that Derek Mason and Tarver are talking about is pressure. I expect them to bring pressure as much as possible against Joe Burrow to try to affect the game. They can't sit back there and let him pick them apart.
LSU's defense will be on the field to start. For more on that, let's go down to the field and Cole.
Tom, a big get back for Dave Aranda and a maybe get back for Dave Aranda. Caleb on Chason, outside linebacker, defensive end, will be available if needed. And Michael Divinity returns. Did not play last week due to a coach's decision. Not going to be at inside linebacker, though. A little bit of a position change. He'll spend the entire game at outside linebacker as LSU tries to ramp up the pass rush with only 4 defenders.
All right, awesome, and good morning from Music City. The LSU faithful have taken over the town as expected. LSU had key players out last week. Caleb Chason expected to return today. We'll see if that comes to fruition as they look to get a pass rush against Vandy. LSU won the toss. They've deferred, so Vandy will receive. Early estimates, 90% of the crowd in purple and gold. Avery Atkins will kick us off. Justice Shelton Mosley, the Harvard transfer, won't have a chance to return. New quarterback this season for the Vanderbilt Commodores, Riley Neal, transfer from Ball State. He's on the Johnny Unitas watch list. He's from Yorktown, Indiana. Loves fishing and golf when he's away from football. Had a big growth spurt as he got into high school and took over. Grad transfer where he threw for a career high 402 yards and 4 touchdowns against Kent State last September.
I think 2 weeks ago against Purdue, throwing for over 379 yards. 78 was a huge confidence booster for Riley Neal. Let's see if he can continue in that trend.
He's got a great running back behind him, Keyshawn Vaughn. And Vaughn will get an early touch and a huge hole for Keyshawn Vaughn. Vaughn into the secondary and finally taken down by Christian Fulton. It's a 41-yard romp.
Well, you're going to see number 8 linebacker on the left side of your screen there, Patrick McQueen. He picks the wrong hole, and it busts wide open for Keyshawn Vaughn. You cannot give him a step. He's dangerous.
Longest run of the year for Vandy. Now they swing it to the outside. Kalijah Lipscomb, a New Orleans native, is able to take it for a gain of 6. He could not ask for a better start for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's huge, and just really a mental mistake by Queen on that side of the ball. He just read it wrong, hit the wrong gap, and that's all it takes when you have a dangerous running back like Keyshawn Vaughn. He's one of the best in the SEC, and Vanderbilt hasn't been able to blow the holes for him that they would like to, but if you give him an opportunity, he is as dangerous as it gets.
Vandy's offensive line has struggled this season, and they've had to shuffle some guys around even coming into this one. On 2nd and 6, it's Vaughn again. And he makes his own hole after contact. A pickup of 4. Grant Delpit came in from his safety spot along with Queen for the stop. Here's a look at the starters for Vandy on offense. The weapons, Lipscomb and Pinckney.
Yeah, if you're Vanderbilt, I think you look on the outside. You don't love a ton of your matchups with the talent that LSU has, but you do like the matchup with Jared Pinckney on anybody. Just 5 receptions through 2 games. They got to find ways to get him the ball tonight, especially on important third downs.
They go a little bit bigger. Pinckney and Ben Bresnahan on the field at the same time. And a pre-snap shift on 3rd and 2. Play clock almost ran out on him. Lipscomb open on the out route. It's a first down for Vanderbilt. Tracked by Derek Stingley Jr. That might be the first completion Stingley's allowed all season.
And they took a page out of LSU's playbook. These tight splits create a lot of space on the outside. Lipscomb just attacks that leverage and has a lot of green grass on the outside. Good accurate throw by Riley Neal. And you're right, Stingley's a tough one.
And remember, Dave Aranda was well aware that this is a Vandy team coming off the bye week. He said, we won't know what we're going to see until we see it. So it'll be a matter of reacting. Freshman running back Keon Brooks enters the game for Vanderbilt. Four-man rush into the end zone, almost picked by Stingley. That'll be an interesting matchup all afternoon, Stingley and Lipscomb, if that's how it plays out.
And Stingley almost got him back. This ball is just late. Riley Neal's got to let this go 2 or 3 steps earlier. Little late, allowed Stingley to undercut the deep over route. If that's thrown earlier, that could be a touchdown because Kalijah Lipscomb had a step. I do like the aggressiveness, though, Tom. Vanderbilt gets inside the red zone or just outside the red zone. Take a shot.
It's Neal who keeps it. And Neal bends it back inside the 10. When we watch film, the one thing we didn't see is Riley Neal keeping it on some zone reads.
Yeah, and it's not his forte. But we were talking to offensive coordinator Jerry Godowski for Vanderbilt. He said, we have to do this early in the game, if only to keep LSU honest. And Braden Fehoko on the outside there got a little too far inside, so it was a great read by Riley Neal. They're not going to major in that, but just doing that now will slow down that backside pursuit.
Vandy is only 3 of 6 in the red zone this season. They come in averaging only 15 points a game. A check from Riley Neal. Play clock is at 2. Here's Vaughn. Vaughn sheds one. Stiff arms another. And Vaughn gets tripped up as he makes his way to the 5 with a pickup of 5. Christian Fulton finally brought him down.
One of the best in the country at gaining yards after contact. Coming into this game, 97 of his 130 yards on the season after contact. The first guy never brings him down, but good job by Jacoby Stevens there.
And neither did the second. Vaughn already 3 carries for 50 yards in this game. Neal hands it off this time, and Vaughn will carry some dudes with him all the way to the goal line. And he's in. Touchdown, Vanderbilt. And the extra effort from the 5th-year senior, Keyshawn Vaughn, has Vandy on the board first.
This is a great effort by Keyshawn Vaughn, but also a great effort by Vanderbilt offensive linemen getting behind Keyshawn and pushing him into the end zone there. Grant Miller, Sage Young, the center and left guard, helping out big time with that late push.
Senior Riley Gay on for the point after. Opening drive a success for Vanderbilt. They cover 75 yards in just 8 plays. Their 5th-year senior and Nashville native by way of the University of Illinois, Keyshawn Vaughn, able to carry the ball and some purple jerseys into the end zone. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Leonard Fournette back to return. This is Helaire, and he will take it in the end zone. And that will bring out the most proficient passing offense in college football, led by the most accurate passer in college football. And it's a surprise even today to say that about an LSU quarterback. He grew up a Nebraska fan. Dad, a longtime coach there, and started his Golden Boy career at Ohio State under Urban Meyer. Dad Jimmy, coach with Derek Mason at Ohio. He's somewhere in the stadium today. I'm sure we'll see him shortly.
By the looks of it, an M&M fan back in the day.
Burrow facing pressure, gets it off complete on a slant to Jamar Chase. Chase still on his feet and finally thrown down for a gain of 20. So I asked you before the game, what can Vanderbilt do differently than what they've done this season?
They got to bring pressure. If you watch the first quarter of that game against Texas, Texas had some success with late and delayed blitzes getting after Joe Burrow. If you sit back and give him space, he'll do just what he did last play.
Here's Edwards-Helaire with a big gain. He's down the numbers and finally tracked down from behind. Odangbo with the tackle after a 47-yard run. 2 plays, 91 yards for LSU.
There's a breath of fresh air for LSU fans. As much as you love lighting it up through the air, love to see the running game get going early.
And so Vanderbilt brings pressure. It seems they will be exposed. Can they limit that exposure? Will help determine the outcome of this one. One of the nation's best offenses on a roll early. Here's Helaire, and he couldn't grab it. He would have had 6. He was right in front of him.
Again, just a great job up front by LSU, sealing off the movement by Vandy. And I guarantee Edwards-Helaire has been waiting for a hole like that.
Ed Ogeron said offensively, we just need to do simple better when it comes to the run game. That one went for 46. A check to the sideline. Play relayed from the booth. Helaire again. And inside the 5. The question is, can this LSU team be elite and compete for a national championship if they don't establish the run game?
I think to some degree you have to, and that's what Ed Orgeron was talking about. We're not a good spread zone run team right now, as you see no running back in the backfield.
And a touchdown catch by Justin Jefferson. Quick tempo that time.
That is the problem. If you're Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator for Vanderbilt, you got to be careful when you substitute. They were late running a different personnel package on the field there. LSU saw it. They went tempo, and Vandy was never ready. And a great snag here on a little bit of an inside throw by Joe Burrow. But the tempo is what did that one.
Cade York on for the point after. It took him a minute 13 and just 5 plays to get down the field. Each team has had one crack at it, and each team has put one on the board. Get ready for a shootout on the West End. 7-7 early. Well, Derek Mason's team off to a great start offensively. Ed Ogeron wanted to establish the run. They've done that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a long one, and Justin Jefferson with a touchdown catch. This is an LSU offense which comes in 3rd in the nation in scoring at 55 points a game. Justice Shelton Mosley back to receive this kick from Avery Atkins, a sophomore from Auburn. No chance to return this one. Second possession for Vanderbilt. Riley Neal hands it off. And a grind on the right side will pick up 4 before Michael Divinity makes a stop. Cole, you talked about Michael Divinity playing a new position today for LSU. How big a move is that for this unit?
Well, I think when you're looking at 3rd and longs, it's a big move because he's the second best pass rusher on the football team, and we haven't seen 18 K'Lavon Chaisson back out there yet. But Jordan pointed out some missed assignments by the inside linebackers early in this game that led to big runs. That's where Divinity would have been.
You catch that Cajun inflection on Chaisson from Cole?
Chaisson.
2nd down 7. Vaughn is split out to the top of the screen. 5 wide here for Vandy. In a 3-man rush, and they chase him, and Neal will throw it away. Good sign if you're Dave Aranda. They've had a hard time getting any pressure with a 4-man rush.
Yeah, and that's one thing he was worried about coming into this game. How much would they see what Northwestern State and Texas did a little bit of with the shifts, the motions, the empty sets? And you see right there, nose guard Tyler Shelvin working on center Grant Miller, providing the pressure. If they can get a pressure with 3 of their big guys in there, not even their pass rush personnel, it's a really good sign. But right now you'll see this defensive front for LSU. It's called their peso set. All their lean, mean pass rushers on the line of scrimmage.
And they walk Patrick Queen up into the A-gap. He'll come eventually. Neal lets it go. Batted away, and it falls incomplete. Grant Delpit, preseason All-American. Todd McShay has him at number 3 on his preseason draft board.
And this is what makes this kid so good. I mean, best part of his game, maybe blitzing the quarterback, coming down around the line of scrimmage, but in coverage, look at this turnaround. I mean, how quickly did he transition from the top of that, planting a foot and getting downhill to break that up against a big physical tight end in Jared Pinky.
Harrison Smith, the sophomore from Brentwood Academy in Franklin, Tennessee, to punt it away. Freshman Derek Stingley Jr. stands at his own 27. LSU returned 1 for a score last week. Stingley takes it and gets taken down. Was looking for an opportunity, never developed. 37-yard punt, 1 on return. Brendan Harris with a special team stop for Vandy. Back to Nashville after this. Tyrion Davis-Price, a freshman running back, is split out among 5 wide. Jefferson and Terrace Marshall each have 5 touchdowns. First pair of SEC teammates over the last 20 seasons with at least 5 touchdowns in the team's first 4 games. To the air again, and this is Jamar Chase. He's in a chase, and he will take it all the way. 1 play, 6 points, 64 yards. LSU looks unstoppable.
Wow. What's the common thread of LSU's offense, especially throwing the football so far this year? Attacking the middle of the field. They're doing it better than any team in the country. And again, catch Vanderbilt in a soft, too-high zone, and Chase just splits them.
Another point after for Cade York, freshman from McKinney, Texas. Was the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. And LSU's establishing win against Texas. It may not be the high water mark of the season for the Tigers.
I tell you what, this LSU defense is probably sitting on the bench over there going, wait a minute, we need a breather. What is going on here? Look at this. Soft cover 2 zone there. Chase just splits it.
Well, this is what LSU ranks in the SEC. And today, 2 possessions, 6 plays, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, time of possession, 1:24.
And I tell you what, Vanderbilt right now not doing anything different. I haven't seen the pressure. I haven't seen the blitzes. I don't know if that score in their first drive said, hey, maybe we can slow play this. We don't have to be as aggressive, but it's not working right now.
Vandy keeps it on the ground, and no chance to escape the clutches of Braden Fehoko. Neal keeps it again, makes the first man miss. Riley Neal put the move on Andre Anthony. It's a gain of 4.
And a great read earlier in the game by Riley Neal, but this time you're reading this guy right here. What does he do? Look at him. He slow plays this. You got to hand that one off. You only pull it if it's absolutely clear cut, especially when you're not really a mobile guy or a guy that's going to break one in Riley Neal. Not a great read on that one.
He's got Keyshawn Vaughn in the backfield again. Vaughn averaging 9 yards a carry so far today. Pressure, and Neal able to get it out of the backfield to Vaughn. It turns into just a gain of 2. The screen game for Vandy was so good last year under offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig. Is that something that could benefit them today against LSU's defense?
It absolutely could, but we're not seeing the same things in this offense that we saw under Ludwig. The shifts, the motions, we've seen a little bit more this week, but that's what made them so good at the screens. They had an exotic look that they could get to for a number of different screens.
Camden Coleman is on the field for this Vanderbilt punt team. This is significant because this is the first organized game Coleman has ever played in. Fair catch taken last minute.
Things are moving fast for him, but I bet he's having a blast.
Pocket pressure on Burrow. Gets rid of it for a first down. Plenty more. Terrace Marshall across midfield and into Vandy territory. And everything Joe Burrow has touched and everything that's been called by Joe Brady or Steve Ensminger has turned to purple and gold.
Watch Joe Burrow navigate this pocket. Steps up and moves better than any quarterback I've watched this year. Finding space, creating a throwing lane for a big play.
LSU's receivers wide open. Vandy can't tackle. Going to be a long day back there. That's Terrace Marshall for 20.
That last play very reminiscent of that Texas 3rd and 17 where Burrow navigated the pocket, made a throw off balance. Didn't see much of that last year. He's doing that at such a high level, and that's not part of his game that we got to see last year.
Fifth. They've got Stephon Sullivan in as a tight end right now. Trying to run behind him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire takes it to the 5. We're talking with Ed Ogeron yesterday, and we asked him, do you need to run the ball better or do you accept it given what you're doing through the air? And he said, well, we need to run the ball better. We can do that by simplifying things. He said, but then again, every time I try to get on somebody about our run game, I look up and we've thrown for another 40 yards.
It's so true. They're not able to practice it as much as they're used to because they're so good at pushing the ball downfield. That's what everyone wants to do. Vandy bringing pressure.
All of it. And they go to the slant for a completion of McMath. And might be just shy. This could be 3rd and short coming up. LSU quickly on the ball. 3rd and inches. Burrow gives it up. Helaire's got the first down. He's got the touchdown from 9 yards out. What took him so long? That time nearly 2 minutes to cover 67 yards.
Plays like that are going to be so underrated, but this is Joe Brady at work. They come out in a second down with 3 or 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end in the game, get into a 3rd and short, and instead of changing personnel, they go to the tempo, bring everybody to the line of scrimmage, and hand it off real quick before Vandy can get any big guys on the field.
Cade York's been busy this first quarter. 3rd point after is good. One if by land, 2 if by air, 21 on the offense for LSU. It'll be interesting once we get to that point to measure LSU's wide receivers versus Alabama's wide receivers. Riley Neal delivers a strike to Kalijah Lipscomb. He makes Stingley miss, and he takes it to the 40-yard line. Vanderbilt trying to hang with firepower. It's a 35-yard play.
And when we had Riley Neal week 1, I don't think he stands in here and makes this type of throw because he has Kalijah Lipscomb. Great route, great leverage. And with guys in his face, Riley Neal delivered a strike there. When we had him week 1, there was happy feet. He escaped the pocket way too early at times. That time, hung in there for a big play.
Four yards on the ground that time. Andre Anthony comes up to make the stop. Cole, we haven't seen K'Lavon Chaisson just yet. What did he tell you about his desire to play today?
Well, I talked to him before the game. He said, I'm asking Coach O if I can go. I want to play. And I talked to him earlier this week as well. He said, I feel good. I'm obviously not 100%. Coach Orgeron told us in meetings he is available if needed. Have not seen him yet.
They had a free agent pickup this week. Former tight end T.K. McClendon moved over to the defensive side of the ball. We'll see him most likely in goal line situations. Neal to the perimeter. This is Pinckney, the tight end, and Pinckney has no gain. Kerry Vincent Jr. brings him down.
And with no K'Lavon Chaisson, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long is where Dave Aranda's looking to find a guy. Who's going to be the guy that can rush the passer similar to the way K'Lavon Chaisson can and does when he's healthy? Is it going to be Michael Divinity moving outside to outside linebacker, having opportunities? Andre Anthony as well.
Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator for LSU, still trying to figure out the identity of his unit. Four-man rush here. Neal flushed. Bends it back inside and is able to pick up a first down through an arm tackle. Tyler Shelvin brought him down, and now it looks like he's going to be just inches short. 4th and a foot to go. You got to go for it, right?
Got to go.
Because if you give it back, you're giving up 7 the other way.
Would love to see some tempo here by Vandy as well, similar to what LSU did last drive.
4th and inches.
It's not going to be a sneak.
Here's Vaughn, bounces to the outside, hit behind the line, and he will not get there. Jacob Phillips and Christian Fulton with the stop. How'd you know one going to be a sneak early?
You could tell by Riley Neal's feet that he wasn't gearing up to sneak it. And I think they had the A-gap to the left of the center wide open. Instead, they handed off to Keyshawn Vaughn. Not a bad choice. He's your best player. But LSU, a great job of rallying to the ball. First one never gets him, so a great job there by Patrick Queen, rallying and getting Vaughn down behind the line.
Pretty good look there, and why Dave Aranda said Christian Fulton might be playing some more nickel in the future. He has those kind of instincts to come up and help with the tackle behind the play.
Edwards-Helaire in the backfield.
A look over by LSU. They like the play. They'll keep it on.
Burrow to the outside. It's another first down. It's Terrace Marshall Jr. In that scenario, does Riley Neal, a veteran quarterback, have the ability to check to a sneak or just take it himself, or no?
Not necessarily. Back in the day in junior college, I had one we called it Peanut Butter Cups. Of course, I had a 400-pound center. So.
And what was his nickname?
His nickname was Peanut Butter Cups.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, hey, if you ever want to sneak, just tap me and say Peanut Butter Cups. It'll just be you and me. So I'm not sure if Riley has that opportunity, but if he did, he missed a big one there because I think they pick that up if they sneak it.
Pressure coming from the edge. Burrow goes that direction, and he completes it for another big gain. This is Terrace Marshall Jr. leading the country in touchdown receptions with 6.
Vanderbilt now kind of stepping away from bringing the pressure that we saw a few times early in this game. They're playing a lot more zone. This time looks like now they might be coming back to it, man across the board and one high.
LSU averaging 17 yards per play. Add to that with this touchdown catch from Jamar Chase. It goes for 25.
It's just too easy right now for Joe Burrow in this LSU offense. Too many playmakers. And like I said, Vandy, a lot of zone on that drive. As soon as they get into man, what do? Go to your playmaker on the outside in one-on-one. In LSU right now, they're winning every one of those battles.
Chase already 113 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Did he have control when that left foot came down?
I think he already had it when the step before. It looked pretty clear to me. You remember the push-off on the other side of the field a couple drives ago?
Yep.
Chase got away with a little bit of movement there, but never extended the arm. If you don't extend that arm, a lot of times it's not getting called.
What do you think Les Miles is thinking, looking at all the points that LSU's putting up this season?
He's thinking, man, I should have found Joe Brady when he was, what, 17?
Yeah, he would have been a little bit younger. .28 points is tied for the most in the first quarter in LSU history. They did it against La Tech in 03 and Tulane in 1965. It is their most ever in the first quarter against an SEC opponent. LSU is on pace for a historic day here. Last year they set an SEC single game record for points with 72 in 7 overtimes against A&M. Without overtime, 63 against Kentucky. Saturdays. This is Jared Pinkney. And Pinkney takes it for 8.
And this is what you got to do if you're Vanderbilt's offense with Jared Godowski calling plays. You got to find ways to get Jared Pinkney the ball. See what they do here? He's tight to the line of scrimmage. Jacoby Stevens, number 3, is man-to-man, but he's got 2 receivers he's got to go through, so it gives a little space for Pinkney, finding creative ways to get him the ball. He's going to be a draft pick next year, and probably a pretty high one in the first few rounds.
He is a studious tight end. He watches all of the old school greats. YouTube's his best friend in that regard. Back to the running game, and LSU snuffs it out. Neil Farrell Jr. It's a loss of 1. Through one quarter, LSU has put up 261 yards. They're averaging 17.5 yards per play, 20 yards per completion, and they lead Vanderbilt 28-7. LSU keeping the offense rolling here on Nashville's West End. One of the top scoring offenses in college football. The fourth-ranked LSU Tigers have already put up 28. It's time for the most points in the first quarter in school history. As we welcome back to SEC football, presented by Allstate. LSU fans made the trip. It's one of the best sports towns in the country, and they have been rewarded so far. This time it's Cam Johnson. He gets past the first. Takes it inside the 30. 28-yard gain for the freshman from Brentwood, Cam Johnson.
And chalk that play up to tempo. Vandy was quick to the offensive line. Nice, easy throw. And Kerry Vincent was trying to get lined up, so he was late, took a bad angle. Results in a big play.
Bootleg. Neal. And he threw it to a cheerleader on his way out of bounds. To be fair, the cheerleader was open.
Yeah, she's got to get her head around, you know, be expecting that one. Quarterback gets outside the pocket, you got to be ready for anything.
We need to put her on the jugs gun, maybe. Get some reps for these LSU cheerleaders.
Tell you what, it's hot out there.
Yeah.
And you can tell, look at these LSU guys, hands on the hips. I mean, the heat and the tempo are definitely getting to them. So I like the call there, getting Riley outside the pocket.
Not stopping the cheerleaders.
No, they're rolling. They're well hydrated.
Second down 10. Neal, end zone shot. Stingley with the coverage. Was that caught? Wow. Kalijah Lipscomb looked like he hauled it in, but may have been out of bounds. But what incredible concentration to haul that in through Stingley.
I didn't think there was any way this ball was getting to Lipscomb's hands.
This will be the 10th play of the drive for Vanderbilt. A lot of movement for LSU pre-snap. Neal steps up in the pocket, gets pressured, and gets taken down. An LSU sack. Those have been a rarity this season. A loss of 6. It belongs to Justin Thomas.
And Riley Neal's just got to get rid of the ball here. Once you climb up in the pocket, you get to the top, you can't go backwards at that point. You either got to run and keep going forward, or you got to let that ball go and take a shot towards the back of the end zone.
9th sack of the season for LSU. First today. Riley Gay on for a 41-yarder. Scott Meyer, the long snapper. Harrison Smith holds. And that one is good. So Vanderbilt able to eat some clock. An 11-play, 52-yard drive for their second score of the day. 28-10 here, PB. Boy, who's going to put up better numbers today, Tua or Burrow?
I think it's going to come down to who stays in the game the longest.
LSU fans feeling right at home, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Probably a little slow start for them, too. They probably had some fun on Broadway last night.
They may have. They're smooth, though. Let's see. Tyrion Davis-Price. Play action. Burrow over the middle. And that's good for a first down to Justin Jefferson. We had a great visit with Joe last week, and he talked about being a better fit for this offense. One of the things he didn't like, but what they used to run, was something he wasn't comfortable with, didn't have experience in, and that was a lot of the play action where he would turn his back to the line. That time he got crushed, lobs it up, and it's a leaping catch. Good for a first down with a flag to chase, and Burrow gets up with a flag in front of him.
Wow, Joe Burrow just took a beating.
Pass interference, defense number 28. That penalty will be declined. Personal foul, defense number 10. That penalty will be enforced into the run after distance to the goal, first down.
LSU has a week off next week. But it still begs the question, up 28-10, how long do you leave Joe Burrow in this game?
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't be surprised if this game keeps going that he doesn't play much, if any, in the second half. But then again, he's a competitor. I don't care what the score is. He's going to be tough to pull out of this game at any point. He wants to keep it rolling. Ref needs to turn his mic on.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's one of those checks. Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger getting a look at the defense from the box, radioing the play down. Edwards-Helaire in a pile, moves an extra yard or two, gain of 5.
It's truly amazing. I think you want to look at the difference in LSU. Look right now. No big tight ends in the game. One tight end in the game there, and they're staying with tempo, staying with spread. I mean, this is new LSU.
Burrow to the end zone, a wobbler, and it's incomplete. Moss, the intended receiver. Sent a Pro Football Hall of Famer, Randy Moss.
And if he doesn't slip there, that's a touchdown. What I love about that play, LSU put 3 receivers to the top of your screen to the wide side, and they just decided to see how Vandy was going to adjust. Vandy sent an extra guy over there, so they stood up Thaddeus Moss, stepped him out a few steps, and let him go one-on-one. If he doesn't slip, that's a touchdown.
Pretty big, good pickup by center Lloyd Cushenberry there as well.
Burrow 15 of 18 in this one. 3rd and goal. Burrow retreats and then flicks it out of bounds, and it gets intercepted. No, incomplete, and Burrow went all the way to the wall by the Vandy bench. They whistled that thing dead at the 14-yard line. It is no return for Andre Mintz. And Burrow's going back over to check on one of the Vandy guys. Well, he's not checking nicely. He had something to say to Odangbo. Odangbo with a shove in the back, and tight sidelines here carried Burrow past the net and into the wall.
He did catch it in bounds, but he never reestablished himself. He stepped out of bounds, you see, and he jumps from out of bounds to in.
Can't be the first one.
Nope.
You don't reestablish yourself, so should be no pick for Mintz. But how about the extracurriculars?
Incomplete pass. 4th down.
How about not throwing that ball in the 30th row?
That's a mistake there for Joe Burrow. I mean, he's got to just launch that. And that's what we're always taught as quarterbacks. Sometimes you just lackadaisically toss it out of bounds. You got to throw that thing into the 10th row. Always be sure.
From 25. And halfway up the stands. Joe Burrow took a shot late. Drew his ire. Mason not too happy either. Joe Burrow looking sharp, but also a little perturbed. Saw his competitive fire at the end of that last play. No return for Vandy. This is what Vaughn bottled up on the edge. Jacob Phillips the first there. It's a loss of a yard.
Boy, what explosiveness by Phillips. We saw Patrick Queen miss really the hole early in the game on the big run by Vaughn that time. Phillips read that and was there in a blink.
Pressure, and it is batted down. What a push by Tyler Shelvin up front. The big dude, 6'3", 346 out of Lafayette. Jersey can barely hold him.
We've said his name a few times already today. I mean, for his size, he's got some jump to him. He's got a little bit of twitchiness. Working on a double team here. Look at that, getting up off the ground, getting a hand up. It's a big body to get up and down like that. Look at that.
He was a consensus #1 player in the state, 5-star recruit coming out of Notre Dame High School. 3rd and 11. Neal too wide and incomplete. Kerry Vincent was on Chris Pierce, and Vandy will be forced to punt it away.
Boy, with no Michael Divinity, a really clean pocket there for Riley Neal. He had time. Pass rush could not get there, but One of the reasons LSU is always so tough on defense, the ability to man up on the outside again comes in big. Got to win those one-on-one matchups if you're going to beat LSU or move the ball. And they haven't done that today. Used to be in at night.
Sounds pretty good. Low snap, handled well. Stingley asks for a fair catch, lets it go. What a football sense. Turns into a 66-yard punt. We got pushing and shoving late. Dude can deadlift 600 pounds. Lob shot deep and too much. Terrace Marshall, the intended receiver.
After seeing what McGee did to Odangbo, Vandy's biggest probably guy on that side of the ball, I don't know if I'd mess with him. I think I'd pick on somebody else, maybe a receiver.
He just took Dimitri Moore for a ride about 15 yards down the field.
That's one way you can pay him back as an O-lineman, huh? He outweighs Moore by 115 pounds. Two-man rush through Emery's hands.
Good read there. Burrow wanted the slant. It wasn't there. Came off to the running back on his second option. Just a little hot for a true freshman out there. That ball's got to take a little bit off it for him, you know. Things are still moving a little fast for true freshmen early in this season.
Valuable reps for those guys, though. They didn't see many in the Texas game a couple weeks ago. 3rd and 10. 5 wide. They rush 3. Spy Burrow, and on the run, a crossing route complete for a first down. Stephon Sullivan, and a pickup of 13. Should we be impressed that Joe Burrow is doing this in this offense in his first year in this offense?
Yes, we should. Now, these are all skills that we knew he had last year. The offense didn't allow him to highlight that.
They're averaging 18 yards per completion in this game. Burrow missed on 2 consecutive passes for the first time since the first quarter at Texas 2 weeks ago. This is going to be a big one. It's Ja'Marr Chase again. Chase will take it to the house. A 51-yard catch and run for Ja'Marr Chase. Second score of the day.
I mean, he's so dangerous with the ball in his hands, but one of the reasons this is this wide open at the line of scrimmage, he makes a great move on an in-breaking route, fakes outside, comes back inside, creates the space, and again, yak, baby, yards after the catch. It's going to go down as a big number for Burrow on a nice, easy completion.
And it's going to go down as big numbers for Ja'Marr Chase. 7 catches, 199 yards, and 3 touchdowns on 8 targets. Joe Burrow, the competitor, picking Vandy apart, and then afterwards letting them know about it.
You think he cares what the score is?
He knows what the score is.
And you know what? The biggest hurdle to the Heisman, he's already checked. He's had his Heisman moment. It may have been early, but he had his Heisman moment against Texas, and that's one thing that you're always looking for.
Well, and I think the most important part in that regard is he'll have more opportunities for Heisman moments.
Absolutely. 2 minutes before half? Come on.
Derek Mason said we've got to be different. And defensively, they haven't been very different today. Georgia ran on him game 1. Purdue passed on him in game 2. And now Joe Burrow's picking up where the Boilermakers left off. 434 yards of offense for LSU in the first half. Miles Brennan happy. He's preparing for snaps in the second half, no doubt. Second string quarterback on the right. Incomplete.
And you look at those numbers from LSU and you look at the Vanderbilt defensive side and you're like, how? How is this happening? Well, you lose a couple guys on the defensive side of the ball from last year in Jawan Williams and Donovan Sheffield that were kind of erasers. Guys that you could trust to win those man-to-man opportunities, which meant you could bring a little more pressure. You could get a little more exotic on defense, and you wouldn't have to worry about getting hit for those huge plays on the outside. They don't have that right now.
Jawan Williams, second-round pick of the Patriots. He turned himself into an NFL defensive back. Burrow looking. Stingley had his guy locked up near side, and so Burrow on the run is able to find C.J. Buller. Pardon me, Neal on the run. Can you blame me? Every completed pass, I'm thinking it's Joe Burrow.
Not at all. And Burrow's going to get another chance here, Tom.
How many times can you run 2-minute offense in one half?
They've been running it since the first snap.
That's what I was going to say. That's their offense now, which I never thought I'd say about LSU. Really.
It'll be interesting. I mean, the Alabama game is the one everybody's pointing to. That's November 9th. That could be a shootout. Tyler Shelvin on the punt return team trying to blow people up. That one will hop and take a Vandy turn. Almost ended up at Hattie B's. It's down at the 4 after a 64-yard punt. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. A spin move on the outside won't net him any more yards.
Well, so these are two great defensive minds that cannot bring anything up right now to slow down this LSU offense.
Tarver is the West Coast guy. Cali guy. He said he spent a lot of time dusting off the old defensive playbooks to find solutions to a lot of the crossing routes and the levels that LSU uses. They spent a lot of time on that, getting ready for this game, it seems. Vandy with pressure, and they'll get in the backfield and get to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's McAllister with the stop.
And that was a great job there.
Timeout. Third and final timeout of the half.
Vandy going to bring some pressure. See what LSU checks to.
Come from the edge. Ball lost. Helaire can't find it. It's in the end zone and recovered by Vanderbilt. Elijah McAllister, the redshirt freshman, with his first career score. Jason Tarver pointed out McAllister, said he's had a good week of practice. We really need him to ramp it up. But this was a gift from Edwards-Helaire, who never had control of it.
LSU checks to his zone, away from the pressure. Just maybe a little low, but that's got to be one that Edwards-Helaire grabs with confidence, and didn't look like they were on the same page there.
Riley Gay to kick, and he punches it through. And the Fighting Tiger Caravan showed up in Nashville, and they got their money's worth, both at the concession stand and in the stands. The most productive first quarter in school history. Cole standing by with Coach Ogeron.
You told us when we were discussing your running game earlier in the week that every time you want to try to run the football, Joe Burrow has a watch this moment. How many watch this moments did Joe Burrow have in that first half?
Yeah, he's an incredible quarterback, but we got sloppy at the end. We shouldn't have that bad exchange right there. We got sloppy when we came down here. We have to play 60 minutes of the ball. What a half for offense.
And I know the injury to Michael Divinity hurts you, not just on the field with his production, but in other ways. What does it do to your football team and your defense?
You know, Michael's a leader, but I think he's going to be back. I think he's going to be fine. When we get he and Killamon back, it's going to add to the pass rush. We had a couple of second-teamers in there the first series. They didn't do their job. We put the first-teamers in. We stopped them.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
There's been a productive day all around for LSU, even without Divinity and Caleb Chase on. Let's get you back to the studio. Peter Burns with Gene Chizik and Chris Doring. Gentlemen. Welcome back to SEC football presented by Allstate, and an all-timer for Ed Ogeron and his LSU offense. 38 points in the first half behind the passing of Joe Burrow, a new school record with his fourth pass touchdown game, and he's been helped out by Jamar Chase, who's having a record-setting day in his own right. Derek Mason trying to do something different defensively. It's all the same so far from Vandy. See if they can get their offense going behind Riley Neal, who's just 10 for 22. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. We expected LSU's offense to continue rolling. Did you expect them to move at this efficient a clip?
No, I didn't. I expected them to kind of ease their way into tempo as the game worked on, and they went full speed out the gate. If you're Vanderbilt, you're not going to stop them from completing balls, but take better angles, because right now the yards after the catch for LSU is really what is making this offense really good and creating explosive plays time after time. Oh,
onside kick for Vandy to start the half. It's recovered by LSU, and the Tigers have a chance to return it. It is down to the 2. Surprise, surprise, it's 44 the other way for the Tigers. The Hound does it. Micah Baskerville says, you want to give us an opportunity? I'll put us on the doorstep.
I'm trying to figure out if I agree with that call or not to kick the onside. I don't think I do. You're down 21. Look, at some point you're going to stop them. Even if you get that, you score, you're still down 14. I mean, at some point you got to just fix some things on defense. Trying to steal a possession here. It's actually a pretty good kick. Bounces around but falls into the wrong hands if you're Vandy.
Joe Burrow passes the chips right into the end zone. It's Racy McMath from 6 yards out.
It's just too easy for LSU right now. Vandy doesn't have anybody on the outside that can lock up in man coverage and disrupt things at the line of scrimmage, so the slants, the quick throws are wide open.
That might be Ed Ogeron saying, how do you feel about one more series and then take a rest?
Oh, boy. 5 TDs. Just like I mentioned, LSU at the line of scrimmage, no matter who it is creating separation down here in the low red zone. Just a quick slant squares up the defensive back, and if you're a DB down the red zone, you got to be playing heavier inside leverage than that. Make them throw the fade, make them throw a low percentage, but you can't play that off and not that far inside. It's just too easy.
Let's go back down to the field. Our Band of Soleil man with the Saint-Tropez tan. Cole, how's the sun?
It's warm. It's out here. It's hot. They're beating up. But it's interesting that you mentioned those slants, Jordan, because Coach Mason told me coming out of the half that he has to find a way to slow them down, but he wasn't worried about the catches. He was worried about the yards after the catches. Said, we've got to eliminate the yak yards. It's killing us. However, we see that just getting open near the end zone can be effective as well.
And that's the thing. I mean, I get it, and that's what I said. You got to stop the yards after the catch. You got to take better angles when these receivers do catch the ball. But you're inside the 5 or inside the 10. You can't give that guy 8 yards of cushion.
Vanderbilt will run it on first down and lose 2 yards. Braden Fajoko and Andre Anthony back there. Remember, we still haven't seen LSU's defense at full strength. Richard Lawrence, Glenn Logan out with injury. Caleb Chason dressed out but hasn't seen the field today. And encouraging news from Ed Ogeron to Cole before they went in the locker room that Michael Divinity will be back. Certainly no need to bring him back out for Dave Aranda's defense in this game. But it looked like an ugly, costly injury at the time. This is Cam Johnson. And Stingley can't bring him down, trying to rip the ball out. And Johnson will turn it into another 15 yards on his way to a 25-yard gain.
And that's just a young player trying to make a big play. And you love the instincts of Stingley to go after the ball here. But you got to wait till at least one other defender is there with you to help bring him down. That's when you can really start punching out that ball. Here, you got to do everything you can to get him out of bounds or bring him down first. Then when guys rally around, you can all go for the ball.
Eric Stingley must have a great dental plan. He hasn't played with his mouthpiece in all game. Vaughn breaks through, makes the safety miss, and wins his foot race. Keyshawn Vaughn is off on a 52-yard scoring run. Second touchdown of the day for Vaughn.
And a timely answer for Vanderbilt. This game has been teetering on out of reach really since the end of the first quarter. Without a touchdown here, it starts getting really out of reach, and Vandy just sticking around. 3-point game. I mean, sorry, three-score game. That means Burrow's going to be coming back out. Look out, Tua.
Look out. There's still something left to prove. Riley Gay sneaks it in the upright. Vanderbilt gets a quick strike from Keyshawn Vaughn. Vaughn is over 100 yards for the first time this season. He's averaging better than 8 yards a carry. Vandy keeping it interesting to an extent. There's Jamar Chase again, and he breaks the tackle. This dude is something else. Sophomore from Harvey, Louisiana, picks up 9. Joe Burrow continues his own school record. He has completed 20 or more in 7 straight games. He's got Chase to thank for it. Here's Edwards-Helaire, stutter step to the outside, and he takes it for a first down. That's a gain of 25. Speaking of number 1, Jamar Chase, he's the first LSU receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. against Furman in 2013 with a 200-yard day. Burrow's got all day. He's going for 6. End zone shot knocked away.
Maybe even more important, Jordan, situations like we just saw right there. Short yardage and goal line situations. Not even just milking the clock and try to close out a victory, but there are going to be teams that you're going to play that you have to score touchdowns against. You're not beating Alabama with field goals. So they're going to be short yardage and goal line situations where they have to come away with touchdowns.
They have leaned towards the pass heavily, as they have this season, which is such a departure from who LSU has been in their program history.
Vandy dialing up pressure here, going man across the board, cover 0.
Chase with another grab. That one goes for 5.
Cover 0, playing off again, take the slant. I mean, Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger are up there doing the check with me, and they're saying, okay, they're bringing everybody, but they're playing 7-8 yards off. Take an easy throw.
Can't go broke taking a profit. Ground game turns into a first down. That's 8 for the Baton Rouge native Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of Catholic High. He's now over 100 yards. Joe Brady middle of the screen. Steve Ensminger on the far right. Kenny Airbear with the stop.
See, kind of hit and miss for that Vanderbilt defensive line up front. A lot of stunts, a lot of games, run stunts, twisting defensive linemen, trying to find ways to get guys in gaps to take away some of these easy, simple runs. But on the flip side of that, you move a guy outside of the gap that they're running to, could be a big game.
And Vandy's in that stand-up look. No hands on the ground right now. They're going to play some games, try to get after Joe Burrow right now.
Pocket holds, another end zone shot. Beautiful pitch and catch. It's Jamar Chase again. His 3rd touchdown of the game. Farmy's 4th, and it's 16-yarder there. Jamar Chase has been targeted 11 times. He has 10 catches, including 4 touchdowns.
Great move inside to set up what they've been doing all day, slant routes. This time sets up the fade route. Vandy brings some pressure, goes man. And again, nobody on the outside that can match up with the talent that LSU has out there.
Joe Burrow has just set an LSU school record with his 6th passing touchdown of this game. This new look LSU offense is halfway to 100. And we're not yet midway through the 3rd quarter. Joe Burrow, the grad transfer to LSU, is playing games with Vandy. Jamar Chase cashing in. Garrett Schrader's beard, by the way, might be my favorite current Twitter follow.
I mean, he's right up there, but still right behind Gardner Minshew's mustache.
Right behind.
It's close, but the stash is creating a legend of his own.
Look at these numbers. Burrow's 6 yards away from 400. He's set an LSU record with 6 touchdown passes. Edwards-Hilaire's over 100. And Chase has 229 yards on 10 catches.
You know, the accuracy, the precision, the efficiency of Joe Burrow this year it's astonishing. And I got a lot of critique on how I evaluated Joe last year. But it's not only the offense. He's a better player. He's improved. Last year, he was bad at times. In the red zone last year, 13 of 42 on the year. He was bad in the red zone. He was bad against good defenses at times. He is not only set up to be more successful because of the offensive scheme, but he is more accurate than he has ever been on some of the perimeter throws, the deeper throws. I mean, we're seeing a new offense and a much improved quarterback in his own right.
Well, and when we talked to him, he pointed out, admitted to you, like, hey, I got a game where I complete 45% of my passes. That's not good enough.
No,
that can't happen.
And we were kind of joking because I was sitting there with him. I was like, hey, you know, I know I've been tough on you. And at one point he's like, yeah, you know, well, I was completing 44% of my passes, so I get it, right? I mean, he's just so much better than he was this year. And
well, what's amazing to me, and I know he appreciates this, is the way he's climbed. Forget about the Heisman conversation right now, but on draft boards based on this performance.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that are now open to him at the end of this season that would not have been there if he would have been in the same offense and the same quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, the efficiency obviously raises eyebrows and gets eyes on you, but even the things he's done to improve his arm strength. We were joking around about his time at Ohio State, how Urban Meyer hated to watch him throw because he had a weak arm.
Said he threw like a girl.
Threw like a girl, and so he went to improve that while he was at Ohio State. He worked hard on it this offseason, and he's throwing the deep ball more accurately and better because of that.
Pressure on Neal. Can't escape the pocket. He gets popped from behind. It's Zamone Clark who's playing in Michael Divinity's spot, who comes up with LSU's 2nd sack of the game. Joe Burrow's got the helmet on. Well, some crisp looking play. It's blocked by LSU. And now they add a special teams touchdown. It's that man again. It's Baskerville who recovered the onside kick. And now he comes in with the punt block. Give him the belt. Hey, Micah Baskerville, you can impact the game on special teams. And he is cashed in today.
Coach O a little fired up there about that one. He's seen the offense. He's like, I get it. We can score touchdowns there. But head coach, nothing that he loves more than seeing special teams come up with a big one.
What a performance by this LSU team. LSU is the 2nd school in SEC history to score 45 or more in each of its first 4 games. Alabama is the other. They did it last year. Left side of your screen. No, right up the middle. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, 41's got his eyes inside. He's got to be scanning.
They haven't had one of these since Jacob Hester blocked it against Arizona State in 05, and Craig Stelz took it the rest of the way. And there's your required Hester shout out for the day. A lot of fun when you can start your day with a victory and end it at walk-ons before the sun sets over the Mississippi. Neal hit as he throws, but Vaughn will turn this into a positive play and a Vanderbilt first down.
And you guys mentioned buy-in too. I mean, nothing, and this is something that maybe LSU wouldn't admit, or you might not have seen, but you play defense for LSU the last couple of years. There's got to be maybe even a little bit of deep-seated resentment, right, with how the offense hasn't been holding up their side of the bargain in some of the big games that LSU's had an opportunity to take that next step. So now this defense maybe has a little more buy-in. See?
First down, Keyshawn Vaughn.
There are some folks, Tom, and think about this, and this has been said in very serious context, that he is the best recruit in the history of LSU football.
Wow. That is an impressive list, and the family history is impressive with the Stingley family. Grandpa Derek, you may know his, pardon me, Grandpa Darrell, you may know his story. He was a fantastic wide receiver at Purdue before going on to the NFL. First round pick in 1973. And that was batted away on the opposite side by Christian Fulton. Darrell Stingley, after taking the hit from Jack Tatum, had crushed and dislocated 2 vertebrae in Stingley's neck, severely damaging his spinal cord. He was rendered quadriplegic and would spend his remaining years in a wheelchair. He passed away in April of 2007 at 55 years old. Darrell Stingley's son, Derek Sr., played pro baseball for 3 years before switching to football. Longtime player and coach, and coaching to this day. There's the tight end Pinckney getting involved in it. Gain of 8. Cole, that's a heavy story, and those are heavy accolades that people would put on him as the best recruit in LSU history. What would he have to do to live up to that?
Well, I think it's more highest rated recruit in the history of LSU football, but you can't say best right now when you have guys like Patrick Peterson and Leonard Fournette that have come through. But man, I think about what Pat Peterson did just at the same position when he was at LSU, and just to have a similar career would be unbelievable for any player.
4th and 1. How about Tyrann Mathieu? They're going to go play action. Neal back the opposite way. He's got Pinckney wide open. And Pinckney finally gets tripped up. Remember early in this game, we went for a 4th and 1?
Where was that one? Probably could have had the QB sneak again. Obviously, they don't like listening to me, so love it. Play action, hard play action. You sneak Pinckney from one side of the field. You see him down block there on 94 and just release. Really good job there by Riley Neal, selling it to the wide side of the field and coming back late.
Pinckney slowly makes his way over to the Vandy sideline. First carry, Gavin Schoenwald. Pardon me, Vaughn. And Vaughn is also slow to get up. Left leg. So they've lost 2 of your key weapons on back-to-back plays. Keon Brooks looking for a hole. It's not there. If it was quickly filled by Jacob Phillips.
Well, that's a nice job two-gapping there by big Tyler Shelvin in the middle of that defensive line for LSU. You guys called his name a couple of times today, but when you can get somebody who can affect multiple run lanes with just one body, that allows your linebackers to do just what you called out there, Tom.
Here's Elijah Lipscomb. Nice move, and he dances into the end zone for an 18-yard touchdown for Vandy. First touchdown catch of the season for the preseason all-conference wide receiver.
And they were finally able to create a little bit of space at the line of scrimmage for Elijah Lipscomb. Had a bunch or a stack set over there, which meant LSU couldn't play tight to the line of scrimmage. And he's dynamic. He's a guy that would play on a lot of other rosters in the SEC as well. When he gets the ball in his hands, which has been tough for Vanderbilt to do tonight, he can make you pay.
Gay for the point after.
Frustrating day for Riley Neal. He's took a lot of hits, had a lot of tight coverage. He's tried to fit the ball in today against some really talented cornerbacks. So nice one where he had a little bit of an angle at least. Not much separation, but the formation allowed Kalijah to get off clean, and Fulton was there just a hair too late.
You wouldn't expect one here, would you?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I doubt it. Maybe a little squib. Squib up the middle here.
Got to cover it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets to it, and he sneaks free all the way past the 30. Wow. He was thrown for 394 yards and 6 touchdowns. Tyrion Davis-Price. So, 2 best quarterbacks in the SEC, perhaps the 2 best teams. 2 through 5, completed 78%. Burrow's thrown 6, and he's completed 72%.
Yeah, 2 pretty average days. I bet you they had a conversation with Burrow. Hey, you know, we're thinking about putting Miles in. Burrow's like, no, I'm good. Just
remember a couple years ago when Peyton Manning was with the Broncos and it was late in the game and it had been decided, and the backup quarterback, was it Brock Osweiler, didn't get his helmet quickly enough, and Peyton just ran right by him and went in the game like, hey, dude, it's my team. I'm going to get as many snaps as I can.
That's the kind of competitor Joe Burrow is.
Peyton Manning used to lock the other quarterbacks out of the film room to keep them from competing with him when he was at Tennessee. Happened at least once. LSU will be looking at a 3rd and 2. How many snaps does Burrow have left in him today? All Tigers slide of purple and gold, taking over and shutting it down. You know, the only thing that has gone wrong for LSU today, there are rumors swirling that they ran out of beer here before halftime, and the LSU fans were lined up and gave the delivery man a standing ovation as he brought in another truckload. I believe it.
They ain't going nowhere. I believe it too.
Well,
this is just the pregame for Broadway.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here in about 15 minutes.
5 wide. I'd keep an eye on this guy down here. Isolated.
Brennan looking that way. That's complete. First down. McMath. 20-yard gain. He's taken advantage of his playing opportunity tonight.
Hey, he has. And, you know, sometimes football is not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. You look to the sidelines, Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger are up there. They go, well, there's no one else really on this guy. Let's throw it that way. And you got athletes, they make plays.
Here's Emery trying to make a play. Left his feet and got pushed back by Randall Haney. Haney was unavailable for Vandy in the first half due to his targeting penalty in the last game against Purdue.
And again, LSU using tempo in the red zone, something we didn't see last year. It's a new wrinkle.
Here's Emery, and the freshman is in. 6-yard touchdown plunge will take LSU to the mid-60s.
And you wonder, why the tempo in the red zone, right? Well, you enter the red zone with Vandy trying to guard 4 receivers on the outside, so you keep them in that nickel personnel. One less big guy up front. You keep the tempo up. They can't sub. Now you have an advantage running the football between the tackles.
Steve Ensminger told us last week, to be fair to Miles Brennan, when he gets a chance, I want us to run the offense, and we will run it as long as the head coach lets us run it. They've been running plenty. And I'm guessing LSU fans have darkened every door in this town, especially Lower Broadway. Tootsie's is still open, guys. Those guys have had a day. Joe Burrow, 6 touchdown passes. Miles Brennan leads a touchdown drive on his first opportunity. And no opportunity for a return. On 1st and 15. Entire line is moving. Turns into a gain of 7. Jamion Marlowe with a chance to carry the ball here for Vanderbilt late in this game. That one was low but caught. Notre Dame is in town to take on Georgia.
I think I'm going to get home just in time for that. I think my flight lands about 10 minutes before kick.
You think this game's going to be over before that one starts?
That's true, actually. 4 minutes left.
We got 97 combined points in this one. And 5 timeouts remaining. Deuce Wallace wants to let it go. Too much. Cole, what do you think of Georgia and Notre Dame?
I'm not sure this Notre Dame defensive line is going to be able to stand up to the best offensive line in college football and keep Swift and Harrion and company from piling up rushing yards. Notre Dame's allowed 19 rushes of 10 yards or more this season. Only 13 teams have allowed more. All 13 of those teams have played 3 games. Notre Dame's played 2. Georgia 5th in the country with 26 runs of 10 yards or more this season. I expect they will have a dominant performance on the ground.
Second down here for Vandy and Deuce Wallace. From exit 407 of the West End, and that one's intercepted by Jacoby Stevens. Put a cape on that dude. What a play by Stevens, the junior from just down the road in Murfreesboro.
And that's just a great break on the football and a bad decision and bad throw by Deuce Wallace. You're throwing a go route on the outside. If your receiver does not get outside leverage, that ball's going to be thrown on a line. Because he's now 5 yards closer to that safety playing single high, reading Deuce Wallace's eyes. That's the reason. Look at that. Not even outside the numbers. That ball's got to be thrown on the line or it's going to get picked every time. Jacoby had a great break on the ball.
So LSU's offense is back on the field. Going back to that Georgia-Notre Dame game, can Ian Book be a difference maker? Can he be enough for Notre Dame?
I think he can. He can make some plays. Now, I'll say it's got to happen outside the pocket. And that's what I'll be watching as Georgia looks to try to find some semblance of a pass rush.
Here's Emery, and he's finally tracked down, a gain of 21.
As Georgia tries to establish themselves and find their pass rush, they got to be careful of not rushing past the level of the quarterback. If you rush too far upfield, that's when you give Book the ability to get outside the pocket, and he has 0 incompletions outside the pocket this year. He'll make you pay if you give him an opportunity. But again, I see Georgia wearing down Notre Dame at the line of scrimmage, and I don't think it's that close at the end of the game.
Kirby Smart, new defensive coordinator Dan Lanning, wanted to increase the havoc rate this year for Georgia. They've done that to an extent, but still improvement to be made in that area. In terms of pressure on the quarterback, hits on the quarterback, takeaway. And that could be a key tonight. First top 10 matchup at Sanford Stadium since the 1960s. Let's take it back to the studio. Garrett Schrader's beard.
Schrader's beard is down at Tootsie's on Broadway right now, getting ready for the game.
Yeah. You know what? That's too trendy for Schrader's beard. That's too. He's
more of an East Nashville.
Yes.
Beard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Intercepted by Vanderbilt. Randall Haney, and he's going to take it all the way back to the end zone. But there's a flag on the play. Back in the backfield at the 30. As it stands, it's a 42-yard interception return for Haney.
And Brennan took a huge hit as he released that ball, which probably led to the location and allowed Haney to step in front of that one. He takes a lick right as he lets this ball go.
There is no foul for targeting.
Wow.
Therefore, the result of the play is a touchdown.
Was there not a personal foul in addition to targeting?
I thought that's what he said in the initial call.
I get Matt back on here. Touchdown stands for Haney. If that personal foul happened, I mean, obviously didn't happen at the conclusion of the play because the play was still going on and led to the interception. Maybe I misheard, but I thought we had roughing the passer prior to targeting and in addition to targeting.
Yeah.
47-yard return. So Haney, he gets his first pick, and it leads to a touchdown. Told Matt Austin is not available at the moment. But
Go ahead.
So we welcome you to ESPN News. For those of you who made the quick click, congrats on having a fast remote control. At walk-ons, it's going to take a moment to get ESPN News on every TV. We got 1:51 left in this one. So Brennan going to work. Correction, that was personal foul targeting, not personal foul with targeting on that prior play. So apologize for the confusion. It's a loss of 4. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik here with LSU and Vanderbilt. And if you're new to this one, you missed a show by Joe Burrow. 398 yards through the air, 6 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 100 yards on the ground, and Jamar Chase with 229 yards receiving.
And 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Joe Burrow set an LSU record with 6 touchdown passes in this one. Here's Chris Curry, freshman from Lehigh Acres, Florida. Redshirted last year after playing in 4 games. Star of the day, Joe Burrow. 25 of 34.
He's got to be up there as a Heisman favorite now. You know, his odds jumped big time after that Texas game. And
what did he open, 200 to 1?
Something like that, yeah.
And now he's got the 3rd best odds.
And continues to pour it on.
Curry again. Timeout taken by LSU.
Continually chasing perfection and not being satisfied with just good performances.
How about that punt from Von Rosenberg? And not much doing on the return from Shelton Mosley. That was a 56-yarder. Javion Marlowe, another chance. Vanderbilt gets Northern Illinois next week. 11 a.m. start. LSU gets a week off. And then Utah State comes to Death Valley. Marlowe again. Back to the drawing board for this Vanderbilt defense. They allow 599 total yards today. They've allowed more than 500 yards in each of their first 3 games this season. LSU's record-setting offense continues to impress. The Tigers scored a school record 28 points in the first quarter, on the way to 66 this afternoon. Coach O and his squad will get back to Red Stick early. They can kick back and watch more football and know that they are one of college football's elite. Cole Kubelik, Jordan Rogers, our fantastic crew. I'm Tom Hart. So long from Nashville.